to Mindset Transformations Radio Show with your host, Coach Myrna. Do you feel the need to do more with your life? Are limiting beliefs holding you back from true success? Enjoy a unique blend of interviews, discussions, and transformation coaching in every show. Get the tools for success. The Mindset Transformation Radio Show with your host, Coach Myrna.
This episode of the Mindset Transformation Radio Show and Podcast is being brought to you by Transitions Liaison Global. Transitions Liaison Global. Epic solutions exclusively for women. In business since 2010, offering spiritual hypnosis treatments, transformational coaching from certified mind and body expert Laura Ellis. Laura is a CPLT and offers Skype treatments, as well as you can visit her on the web at www.transitionsliaison.com to arrange your free consultation. That website again is www.transitionsliaison.com, which is TRANSITIONSLIAISON.com. Be sure to visit and check out her spiritual hypnosis treatments and transformational coaching. Awesome. Now, we have a second sponsor today, and our second sponsor is Mix Amore, the newest, hottest, and free dating app. That is MIXAMORE. Your happiness could literally be in the palm of your hand. Listen more for information on Mix Amore at the break. Okay, now today I am so excited because I start a new venture on the Mindset Transformation Radio Show. I think that my best girl pal, Margo, would make a fantastic co-host because we have a lot of chemistry and we do the same things. You know, Margo is a coach at One Taste, and of course, I am a mindset coach. So together, we want to start off our series on a topic that's called the Alchemy of Desire. Now, this is going to be so interesting because we are going to expand the topic from desire for your physical partner to desire for anything you want in life. So, Margo, welcome. It's a pleasure to start this new journey with you.
Good afternoon, Ms. Morrison. I'm so happy to be back on your show, and I'm excited to expand and let the world know that, you know, desire is possible. And
yes.
and actually, it was your desire to have me on this show. That's how powerful desire is.
That is true. That is true. I see we're starting off with a bang because that's basically what I'm going to expand on. Exactly. So, yeah. So let me expand a little bit more on what I mean by the alchemy of desire. So, what is desire? Desire can be called the feminine face of God. I love that. Desire is what God places in your spirit to lead you to your purpose. It is the key that unlocks what God placed you on this earth to do. We have desire for our partners physically and spiritually. We desire to do well in our careers. We desire to procreate and have children. We desire to be emotionally and physically healthy. And we should all desire to be wealthy. At least I do. So that is where the desire part of our topic comes from. So what does alchemy of desire mean, you may ask? So I first had this thought when I listened to one of the YouTube sessions on One Taste, and they have a coaching workshop called The Alchemy of Desire. And I'm sure, I haven't gone to this workshop, but I'm sure it focuses on sexual desires because that is what, One Taste specializes in. But when I looked up the word alchemy, this is what it means. The dictionary says that alchemy is a seemingly magical process of transformation, creation, or a combination of both. And that's why I chose this topic, because it is the magical process of transformation, and that's what this show is all about. Mindset transformation on any level. And, of course, it includes finding the person who's right for you requires subtle alchemy. So, also, there is a very famous book called Alchemy of Desire, which we will explore as we go on in this series. And this book was written by Tyrone J. T-Powell. And in this book, Mr. T-Powell tells the story of a young couple, penniless but gloriously in love. When I was growing up, they used to call that barefoot and pregnant. But all right, so they were obsessed with each other, and they moved from a small town to a big city where the man who dreams of being a writer works feverishly on a novel, stopping only to feed his ceaseless desire for his beautiful wife. Yeah, I wish we can all have husbands that have ceaseless desires for us. So this is going to be great to explore on that and to tap into that with my beautiful co-host. So let's continue on with the thesis of the book. A chance occurrence allows the lovers to abandon the city for a mist-shrouded spur of the lower Himalayas and move into a sprawling old house, which they hope will embody their love. At first, they pursue their deep physical need with a reckless intensity, but during renovations of the house, a set of diaries written by the original inhabitant, a glamorous American adventuress, is unearthed, and the narrator finds himself irresistibly drawn away from his wife and thrust into another world and time, into the whole of history. And that's what happens with our love. Things get in the way. We have kids, we have work, we have jobs, we have friends. And that's why they also say that erotic love really only lasts a year, because after that, we get bored. But, of course, I don't believe in that. But, again, we can talk about that later on in our series. So, as his whole life and love falls apart, he slowly begins to uncover the dark secrets at the heart of her story. That is the glorious American adventuress. Until the shocking truth is laid bare and all certainties are overturned. So this book offers in searing, lucid prose a deeply sensual and moving meditation on the nature of desire, history, truth, and art. So as we get into this series, we are going to embark on a deeply sensual and unearthing the nature of desire, the truth, and the art of it. Right, Margo?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So let's dive right in. All right? I've been doing some talking for a little bit. So let's bring on Margo. Margo, can you start off by telling our audience your journey to becoming a one-taste coach?
Wow. I don't think we have enough time for that. But I'm going to...
the quick version of it. Right.
Well, I think for me, I started to want to know more about me, so I've done a lot of transformational workshops. I've done some of the education, and some of the education basically it allowed me to look at my past beliefs, and some of our past beliefs does not support us, and because of those past belief systems that I had, it had me have a filter, and I created some choices in my life that did not support me. So through this transformational journey, I started to have this sexual awakening about myself. And I researched One Taste. And One Taste is basically, it's an orgasmic meditation which involves two individuals. One person strokes the other person's clitoris for 15 minutes with no goal for the other person to feel. So it's not, the end result is not having an orgasm, but for me, I wanted to start feeling something. Also, with One Taste, they have scientific evidence that how orgasms can help you mentally, physically, and spiritually. So it's not like you are having this practice, and once again, it's a 15-minute practice. You have a strokee and a stroker. And for me, when I started my practice with my soulmate, I started to feel alive. I started to think clearly. My connection with him, it was just, in the middle of the day, he'll call me like, oh, my God, I was getting ready to call you. Like, oh, my God. I was thinking the same thing, too. So you begin to have this connection, which we've never experienced before. And I was so believed in orgasmic meditation, I became a coach. And currently, I am studying to be a teacher, so I'll be able to teach the courses of One Taste, and one of the courses is the Desire course.
Okay. Wow. So, all right. So you can get practice here. Right? Yeah, that's right. You can get practice here. All right. Well, that was an unbelievable story. And so I love where you said that once you started feeling things through orgasmic energy, you didn't use those words, but I think that's basically what it is.
Well, we call it oming. So it's it's a 15-minute practice. So it's oming.
Okay. So is that energy?
It is energy. It is
okay.
Energy.
All right. So yeah. Again, I can figure things out, but yeah, the energy that you create with oming, right, allows you to connect with your partner on a deeper level. And I love it. Mm-hmm. And I love when you said that you became alive. And that's why people want to bottle this stuff, because that's what the drugs try to do, because it's part of our central nature. It's part of how we're created to engage in that kind of energy. It's actually the most I just remembered something as I'm talking right now. When I read the book Think and Grow Rich, he had a section in there where he said that the energy of love and sexual energy is one of the most powerful energies in order to create things. And he said that the most powerful men on the earth were sexual beings, because that is how they create. So I just remembered that. Because, we're talking about harnessing this energy in order to be creative and to be transformational. So it's amazing that it's awesome and amazing and everything that, you allowed yourself to be drawn and into wanting to understand more about yourself, understand about your past belief systems, and seek out One Taste in order to grow. A lot of people are unfulfilled, and they just stay there. They don't do anything to move themselves out of that place of being stuck. So I commend you to, and how you moved into that space, and now it's become your passion and your purpose to teach it to other people. So that's absolutely amazing.
Well, thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, so great opening. I thank you for sharing that with my audience. Now, let me ask you, you said that you're studying one of the classes on desire, and you're going to be teaching it. Have you gone to the Alchemy of Desire workshop with One Taste? Can you expand it to my audience what that's about?
Well, before you take that class, you want to take, the Desire workshop.
Okay.
And so there's desire is actually, it's an awakening, right?
Okay.
There's a desire cycle, and the first thing you have to know what you want, right?
Right.
And when you find out what you want, you got to ask for what you want. Third, being present to receive it, and 4, being grateful for it. And number 5, most important, paying it forward to expressing it. So with this introductory class, we talk about desire. I'm going to sum it up. You can say, my desire is to win the lottery. That's not truly a desire. A desire comes from your body. It's one of those things that when you say it, your stomach, you may get this pit in your stomach. There's going to be some physicality. It's one of those things that a desire calls you forth. And once it calls you forth, you're committed to having it happen. Now, it may take a week, it may take a year, it may take a lifetime. My desire is to teach. And when I thought about it, I got nervous, I got scared. All of my circumstances came up, like I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough. That's desire. Desire calls you forth. It's not surfacey. Like, I want to go to the mall tomorrow. That's not a desire.
Well, it's very interesting, and I absolutely love when great minds come together, because my take on the desire angle, in order to make this conversation interesting, I wanted to talk about the desire of creating outside of the bedroom. So one of the things that I have here is how the desire and the body and the feeling go together. Now, I was going to talk about that a little later, but since you brought it up, well, actually, it's coming right now. So
I'm so sorry. You got me so jazzed up about this, because I am all about the desire. It's so important that once you are awakening, it's like the genie in the bottle. You are so clear in terms of what you want.
Yeah. So that's absolutely awesome. So that's basically, in fact, then I didn't know that you were going to say that, but, my follow-up to when you talked about the desire and the alchemy of desire was to talk about the word desire, right? And, to say that as a mindset coach, I created a workshop to help me and my clients manifest the desires of their heart. And, when we talk about the word alchemy and the magical process of transformation and creating, you start with your body, right? And this is what I say. We must identify the desires that we most want to have and then breathe life into it with the power of our emotions. So, to bring the quantum possibility into particle existence, emotions is the key. Now, to break that down, well, thought and emotion, like what Margo was saying, how she feels it in her body, and it's part of who you are. It's got to come from your body. It is still a thought. So it's quantum. It's not it's not something that you can touch yet. So to move it from that realm of the quantum and bring it into particle existence, where Margo, instead of wanting to teach, she's now a teacher, then emotion is the key, right? And emotion is the way that gives power to your thoughts and animate them, right? So when we focus our conscious energy towards what is desire and we give it life through emotion, it will always show up. So this is an exercise that I teach my clients to create, to help them with their desires, right? First of all, like you said, you've got to know what you want. You've got to be awakened by it, right? So I say create a list of all the attributes they desire, because people don't only want one thing. They want lots of things. But, you know, you have a hierarchy of needs and desires, right? So you got to know what you want. It's like going into a restaurant and ordering your desire. What do you want to eat, right? So, you know, you don't want to go in a restaurant and say, hey, what's the special? What are you serving? And then you eat whatever they're serving. You need to go into a restaurant and you know what you want and you order it, right? So same thing. You got to be clear in what you want to create. And it's important to live life from that vantage point. So you got to imagine that the most important desire is already yours. Imagine that it's already happening. So in Margo's case, she got to imagine that she's a teacher and she's teaching desire as a one-taste coach. You know, she's got to feel it, right? So you ask yourself the following questions. What is life like now that I have the thing that I most want? How is life different than it was before when you didn't have the thing you want the most? How is your time spent differently now that you have this desire manifested in your life? How does it feel when you wake up in the morning? What does your new day look like? Where do you lay your head at night? You know, are you in a house by the beach where you can hear the waves crashing, like my desire, or you can look at the mountains, you know, through your window? What do you want to feel when you wake up in the morning? What does your new day look like? What are you doing now that you have achieved this desire, right? Who is with you? That's important. Who are you taking along the journey with you? Who do you want to be there, right? And what kind of new experiences are you going to have? But the most important part is when you are creating this stuff, like Margo just said, you have to feel the emotions, right? Emotions is what activates the law of attraction. And so let's break it down a little, right? So you have thought, right? Thought is located in your upper region of your body. It encompasses the throat area, the third eye, and the crown chakra, right? So for those meditators, and you understand the chakras, we have 7 of them, and I'm talking about the top 3, right? This area of the body is responsible for creation. All your desires are created here. So for people that don't know, the third eye is in the middle of your forehead. It's between your eyes and your crown chakra. It's between your eyes. And your crown chakra is that area on the top of your head, right? So then we have feeling, right? When thoughts and emotions are combined, they meet at the heart chakra, right? That is where the feeling comes in. So feeling comes into play when the mind interprets emotions, right? And when you change the attached emotions to your thoughts, it creates a different feeling. Like Margo started off by saying that she had some past belief systems that created certain things. So when she changed the belief systems, then, you know, it creates different feelings. So we must marry thought and emotion to give us the ability to have the things we want. And that is how we create the alchemy of desire. Anything you want to say on that little excerpt, Margo?
I love what you said. And, you know, you said it in a way that anybody can understand about desire and having the mindset that if you see it, believe it. do it. And once again, it is a practice. It's something that you have to practice, at having that desire and getting what you want. But once again, it comes from the truest part of your body. It's your heart.
Yes. The heart is very important. I do some heart meditations every now and again. Basically, your heart is it's like a radius, right? You can. Yeah, it's got a field, an energy field, and you just got to tap into it, and you tap into that with love, and you tap into it with emotion and feeling and all those different things, which is great. Okay, so we are off to a great start. Now, let's take our first station break, and then we are going to come back, and we're going to talk to Margo about what happens when we have unmet desires. So stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss this. I'll be right back.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to Mix Amore, a new dating app. It doesn't matter if you're Black, white, Hispanic, Latino, Asian, Indian, or beyond. Listen, some see things in black and white. Some see plenty of fish. To match is hard, so they say. Why not try Mix Amore? That's MIXAMORE. Download today for free. Ciao.
Welcome back to the Mindset Transformation Radio Show. I'm your host, Coach Myrna Young, and today we have a special co-host, Miss Margo Blake, who is a one-taste coach. Now, in the first segment, we talked about why I created the topic, the Alchemy of Desire. Margo, talked to us about her journey to becoming a one-taste coach, and we talked about desire and how that pertains to all areas of life. So now, Margo, I want to ask you the question. A lot of women have unmet physical desires, but yet they're too timid to convey their desires to their partners, so they live an unfulfilled life. Can you shed some light on this? How can women, in your estimation, communicate their desires to their partners?
That is a very good question, and I'm going to simplify it, and I want your listeners to try this exercise at home.
Okay.
This exercise, it has to do with the female creating desire, letting her counterpart know what she wants. So we do this very simple exercise in the desires course. The female tells the male, I want a cup of tea. She is very detailed in terms of how she wants this tea to be made. So her spouse, boyfriend, whoever, she brings back the tea. Now, to her dismay, the tea is not what she said. Although she said, I want some tea, I want some Earl Grey tea, I want 2 sugars in it, and I want some cream. So when he brings it back, she's like, this is not what I want. Now, the male, he's like, I did exactly what you said. With this exercise, both partners, they realize that communication is the key. He's thinking that he's doing it right, and she's getting like, no, you didn't do it right. Weren't you listening to me? So, in a nutshell, she did not convey her desire. So, as I said before, when you talk about unfulfilled desires, women aren't being fulfilled, how is she conveying it to him so he can understand?
Okay. Wow. That is great. And I can see this being very humorous or hilarious when you think you're speaking English but he's hearing Chinese. So that's great.
Exactly. Now, so we did that same exercise, and this time what we did was we used the metaphor of a massage.
Okay.
Right? So once again, she said, I want you to massage me. Now, in this case right here, he's doing what he's doing, and she was saying, giving him direction while he's giving her the massage. So he's stroking her temples, and she's saying to him, can you go deeper? Can you go softer? So he's right there. He's right there because they're working together. Versus when he went to go get the tea, it was a solo act. But when we work together, desires are met.
That's
and
good.
Once again, it's a practice. It's a practice because once again, men are from where and women are from what?
Mars, women are from Venus, right? Wow, that's a good one.
So you can start, but you can start with small little exercises, and then before you know it, you're reading each other's minds. He knows exactly what she wants.
Wow, that is powerful. All right, again, this is flowing like, butter or water in a duck's back because you're leading me right into what my next topic is. So that was absolutely amazing, and I have not heard that before, but I can see how that will definitely work because men are also scared of trying things, and you know what I mean, and you're right. Men are from Mars, women from Venus. So if he's getting feedback, right away, then it makes him a little bit more comfortable in trying things and doing things. So that's actually very perfect. All right. So I was listening to a podcast last week, and the host was interviewing renowned sexologist Jaya. Now, Jaya is the author of a book called Red Hot Touch. Now, Jaya told a personal story in which she said that she is wired as an energetic. She feels that everyone has one of 5 ways in which they're wired. And she is an energetic, and she says energetics are able to achieve sexual fulfillment by tapping into the energy in the bedroom. The energetic is turned on by arousal, tease, anticipation, and space. They're also turned on by light touch, slow touch, and feeling safe. Her partner, on the other hand, was wired as a sensual, which is one of the 5 wiring, things that she says that we're all wired on. So the sensual, on the other hand, are turned on by their senses being ignited, like taste, smells, beauty, and they want to bring this beauty into the sensual sexual space. They love the candles and the romance and the music and the bath and the massage and the full body touch. So her story is that for 3 years she would get into bed with her partner and try to initiate sex because, she was the energetic. She didn't sit around and wait for somebody to initiate it. She would initiate it, and her partner, which is a total sexual reversal, would turn his back and say he was tired and not in the mood. So she said that she would cry herself to sleep because she felt that her partner did not love her anymore and that she was no longer sexually attracted, that he was no longer sexually attracted to her. Now, this bothered her even more because she was a sexologist and she's teaching people this stuff, and she's having this difficulty in her own life. Now, her partner, on the other hand, said that he was tormented because he felt like a failure and a loser because he could not satisfy his woman. Now, we all know, or we should know, that men get their ego from how well they make a woman feel. That's what turns them on. So when you're not turning on your woman or you feel that you're not ringing her bell, then a man feels like he's a loser. And apparently this went on for about 3 years until they figured it out. Now, I don't know if they did Margo's exercises or how they figured it out, but they figured it out that that as a sensual, he needed to get aroused in a different way, and he wasn't turned on by her chop, let's do this attitude. Like, she was aggressive, you know what I mean? And, you know, you can't be aggressive with a sensual man, right? So, what is your response to this story as an intimacy coach? I mean, I know we kind of talked about this, you know, in your last answer, but can you expand on it a little bit more?
Well, the first thing that resonates when you said that he was not attracted to her sexually is that
she felt that way. He didn't feel that way, right? She was just not approaching him the right way, but he said he was always attracted to her, right? Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So, you know, the first thing I'm thinking about is like, okay, how old is he? You know, is he over 50? Maybe he needs a little blue pill. You know, maybe you need a wakey. You know, intimacy does not mean interjection, meaning that sometimes you don't have to put, you know, you have to have sex. Intimacy can't be that massage. And for him, he wanted to be intimate. She did not want to be intimate. She wanted, like, let's do it now, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So once again, what is intimacy? Communicate with your partner. Find out, you know, what he wants. And let me give you an example. I play this game with my clients, and it's called, we use 50 rows of pennies, and we say penny for your thoughts. And what he does is he tells his partner what he wants. He'll say, my sexual desire is to stroke your breast. And then she takes a penny and says, thank you. And once again, he's telling her all these things, and it's on conscious, and some of it is subconscious because it's just flowing. So now she has an ideal of what he wants. So that's a tool that I use with my couples. That, you know, once again, yes, she may want it now, but he's just not ready.
Right.
And we have to
He's not.
respect He's just, maybe he had a hard day at work. Maybe he's stressed at work. Okay, great. So let's get him intimate.
Right. Yes, right. So, very, very true, because, you know, he needed more things happening in the bedroom, you know. And he was not turned on by the chop type of thing. Now, then she went on to talk about another story where they had figured out their problem, right? And now they're having the best time of their lives in that area. And one day they were in the middle of it, and she was like ready to go to the next level, and he stopped, right? And she was mad because how dare you stop? And all he had to say is the sensual in me, right? And she understood because he couldn't proceed because the music wasn't the volume, or, you know, the candle was burning out. You know what I mean? He has to have all of that, right, in order to, because it bothers him in the head. And if something is bothering you in the head, it's taken away from what you're doing. So all the things has to be lined up. And that's so important, you know, and I know that you don't agree with, saying that people are wired a certain way, but I want to have a conversation about this because that, to me, is so important, right? What was that?
You are absolutely right. You are absolutely right, because I am not in my head. Nope, no way, no how,
Right, so go ahead.
It goes back to how we are conditioned. So hypothetically, if you were raised, let's say your father was a pastor and you were a PK kid, and so we know that most kids that are raised in a religious background, they're suppressed sexually because a lot of things they don't do like the sitter kids do. So what happens is that person gets married and they're not supposed to do these certain things because how they were conditioned. So
Mm-hmm.
let's say she meets her husband, and her husband is, as you would say, energetic. He's passionate, right?
Right.
And her conditioning says, I'm not supposed to do that, right? What if one day she says, what if I do that? What if, and we're all at choice. And it's simply as her choosing to try, not even try, to do something different. So we're all at choice. So that's why I say that yes, we may be wired in the beginning. We have our core belief system at 7 years old. We know we have our belief system. But sometimes those belief systems don't support us.
Right. Yes, exactly. Right. So, yep, great. Perfect. All right. Well, we're having a wonderful time here. So I really I'm enjoying our conversation here. I'm hoping that the listeners are getting, something out of this about desire and being wired differently and how you communicate with your partners. I'm absolutely loving your exercises. Using 50 rows of pennies and buying something that you want with them. I love it, and that's actually very powerful, on the subliminal level, even, not even on the surface level. But, that to me is extremely deep. So loving all that. All right, so let's take our second, break to hear a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back to close off our segment today and hear some more about what Margo's doing. So stay tuned. Be right back.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to Mix Amore, a new dating app. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Hispanic, Latino, Asian, Indian, or beyond. Listen, some see things in black and white. Some see plenty of fish. To match is hard, so they say. Why not try Mix Amore? That's MIXAMORE. Download today for free. Ciao.
Welcome back to the Mindset Transformation Radio Show and Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Myrna Young, and today we have been having a great conversation with my co-host, One Taste Coach, Miss Margo Blake, and we are exploring the topic of desire, the alchemy of desire, to be specific. And in our second segment, we gave a couple of stories and how communication is very important to not having unmet sexual desires in the bedroom. We also expanded the desire from outside of the bedroom into bringing our desires for life in general into our world. And we do that by feeling the desire in our bodies. Margo talked about, how, she wants, her desire is to be a One Taste coach teaching on desire, and that when she thinks about it, how she feels it in her body. And I expanded on an exercise that I do myself in order to visualize my desires and bring it currently into my world so I can act like if I already have it, because that is how you initiate the law of attraction and start to fulfilling your desires and manifesting them in your life. So, Margo, so I know that you're working on some courses, and I know you have some, group that you have meet up. Tell the audience what you're doing right now as far as your field of coaching.
Oh, thank you, Ms. Myrna. Currently, I have started a meet-up group and to promote my new workshop, and it's basically for women that, how can I say, you want to get your sexy back. What does that mean? That doesn't, it means exactly what I mean, your sexual confidence. So I have a meetup group. It meets every week at Peter Pan's Restaurant here in South Florida. And we have breakfast. And with the meetup group, it's a mix and mingle. And you talk about how you score. So if you want to know if you need to have your sexy back, go to my meetup group, South Florida. It's called How to Get Your Sexy Back. It's a 12-question quiz. And find out if you're a sexy superstar like my friend Myrna, or maybe you need a sexy, maybe you just need an overhaul. Maybe you just need an overhaul. Or maybe you just need a recharge. But it's a fun course. The course is gonna run you about $1.99. It's gonna be on Friday and Saturday. And with this course, you're gonna start peeling back the onion to find out at one point you did have your sexy back. And how can we start having you have the courage of getting your sexy back? So I invite all you guys to come out to Peter Pan this Saturday from 9 to 11. Go to the meetup site, meetup, and it's called I Want My Sexy Back.
I love it. Yeah, you sent it to me. I haven't taken the quiz yet, but I know I've got my sexy going on. Which is one of the reasons I said earlier when I think I started, it's probably people didn't hear it, but, they say that, when I was reading regarding the synopsis of the book, The Alchemy of Desire, I said that, statistics show that erotic love only, the average time frame is like 1 year when, life gets in the way, the kids get in the way, and people stop communicating on that level. And one of the things I've always prided myself on is that I never lose my sexy. I never, get old and boring to my partners, and that's the way that you do it, and if you look in the mirror, because I know that when I glance through the questions, and one of Margo's question is like, what do you see when you look in the mirror? And if you see something you don't like, as a coach, I know that I need to change it, right, in some way, right? You don't just look in the mirror and just, dismiss yourself. Hey, you know what, this is how I look, this is how I look. No, and look in the mirror and be proud of what you see. I was just watching, I was just watching the Oscars last night. And I love Jane Fonda. That woman is almost 80, and she's hot because she is always. Surgery. What was that? What?
She believes in plastic surgery. So, one of her desires is to maintain that image.
That's my point. She still looks hot when she looks in the mirror.
Right. But there's a lot of women, right? But there's a lot of women, Myrna, they don't feel that. They don't, when they look in the mirror, they don't want to look in the mirror. They don't.
Right.
So if we need more women like us in the world changing that, giving them that courage to say, yes, you can, not trying to quote after somebody. But we need your program to stay on so women can make that choice and to feel their sexual desires with their husband. And, as I said before, when women get their sexual power, this universe will totally transform.
True. Yep. Yeah. You in our first segment, you talked about if women were to close their legs, then the world would end. True, right? Because you can't procreate without us. Yes. I'm going to be quoting Margo.
In the White House. Her legs are definitely closed in the White House. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, that is cute. Yeah, awesome. All right. Well, we're almost out of time. Margo, it has definitely been a pleasure. we are going to be expanding on desires and alchemy and one taste and touching and tasting and all those different things, and so that you can start getting your sexy back. Because guess what? A sexy mind is so powerful. Men now are not just looking at the blonde outside, or the pretty fancy hair or whatever. They want your mind. They want someone that they can talk to. They want someone to have a conversation with. They find that sexy. And it all starts with how you feel about yourself, right, and what you think about yourself. So, yeah, we're going to be expanding on that. And I think it's also sexy to want to go someplace. I think it's sexy to have a desire to be better than you are right now. I think that is so, endearing to men when they come into a conversation and they want to talk to you. They don't want somebody that's dung in the dumps and wants to bring them there. They want someone that would uplift their spirit. So that's what we are going to be expanding on and discussing. So definitely, just in case you are going to miss, Wednesday afternoons at 5 on the radio, then you need to subscribe to the podcast because, this show is going to transform your mind so that you can live your best life now. That's what I want to do for you. That's what Margo wants to do for you. So all you need to do is listen and be entertained. So you can pick up my the links to the podcast. We're now available on iTunes, Stitcher, Tuning, and Google Play. And the links are all on my blog, which is blog.myhelps.us. If you want to get any kind of expansion for your desires and your goals and you want to talk to me one-on-one, then, go to my website, which is www.myrnayounghelps.com, which is MYRNAYOUNGHELPS.com. I also want to encourage you to support our sponsors for today's show, which is Mix Amore and Transitions Liaison Global. So, Margo, any closing words?
I would like to give your audience some homework, if that's okay with you, regarding their desire.
Okay.
I would like all the listeners out there to email Myrna about what is their desire. I want you guys to flood her email. What is your desire? Once again, a desire comes from a place in your body that you're so afraid to say it. It's like the boogeyman is coming. It's that type of desire. You're so afraid. And I want you to flood her email, and I want you to reach out and say, Myrna, my desire is to, I don't know, but let us know so we'll have something to talk about. Okay, guys? Can you do that?
Well, that's absolutely a great idea because guess what? A goal is similar to desire, and it doesn't mean anything until you speak it. Once you speak it into the atmosphere and give it form, and you also write it down, that's how it goes. Yeah, so Margo, that was fantastic. That was excellent. My email address is info@myhelps.us. Very simple. info@myhelps.us. So that was, thank you, Margo. That was amazing.
You're welcome.
Let's get some audience participation here. It's not going to cost you anything. All you're going to be doing is telling the universe your desire, and you're speaking it into the atmosphere by sending an email. And guess what? Then we can actually talk about on the show how you can fulfill those desires, right? So
Absolutely.
interactive here. So perfect. All right. Well, thank you for that. It's been a pleasure coming to you from the Mindset Transformation radio show and podcast. I want to thank Margo so much for taking the time out to impart her knowledge to you. So we're going to meet you right back here next week at the same time, or on your on any one of those podcasts. So until next time, namaste.